am 74 years old, and I survived 3 heart attacks. The doctors said my heart was the problem. They were wrong. My heart was just the part of me that finally had the courage to quit. Right now I'm sitting in my kitchen. It's evening. The kind of evening where the light comes through the curtains all gold and tired, like even the sun doesn't want to stay too long. There's a clock on the wall behind me, and it ticks so loud in this empty house that some nights I swear it's the only other heartbeat in the room. I just made tea. 2 cups. I always make 2 cups. One sits in front of me, steaming, and the other sits across the table in front of an empty chair. That second cup has a crack running right down the side, a long, thin line through the porcelain, and if I pour too much, the tea bleeds through, slow, onto the table. I should throw that cup away. Any reasonable person would. But I keep it because that crack is the most honest thing in this house. It doesn't pretend it's not broken. I wish I had learned that trick 40 years ago. You're watching this, and maybe you clicked because you saw something about heart attacks. Maybe you think I'm going to tell you to eat better, exercise, take your pills. No, I'm going to tell you something your doctor won't, because it doesn't show up on a chart. Anger is a heart attack that starts decades before the ambulance comes. And by the time the sirens show up, the real damage is already done. Not in your chest, in your kitchen, in the empty chair across from you. Let me go back. When I was young, I was sharp. Not sharp like smart, sharp like a blade. I could cut a conversation in half with one sentence. I thought that was power. I grew up believing that the loudest voice in the room was the one that mattered. That if you let people see you were soft, they would take everything from you. So I never let anyone see me soft. Not once. I married a good man. A quiet man. He was the kind of person who would rather lose an argument than lose the peace in his home. And I mistook that for weakness. Every single time. He would try to walk away from a fight, and I would follow him down the hallway, throwing words at his back like I was trying to nail him to the wall. I didn't want resolution. I wanted to win. There's a difference, and it took me decades to understand it. I was the same with my daughter. God, my girl. She was beautiful and curious, and she had this laugh that sounded like wind chimes in a warm breeze. That I was so busy being right that I squeezed the joy out of her one correction at a time. She'd come home from school with a painting, and I'd tell her the colors were wrong. She'd sing a song, and I'd tell her she was too loud. She'd try to hug me, and I'd say, "Not now, I'm busy." I was always busy, busy being angry at something. The dishes, the bills, the neighbors, my husband, the weather. It didn't matter. I could find a fight in an empty room. And the worst part, I was proud of it. I wore my temper like a medal. I used to say out loud, if I don't fight, I get walked over. I said it like a motto, like it made me strong. You know what it actually made me? Alone. It made me the woman whose husband stopped talking at dinner. It made me the mother whose daughter learned to play quietly in her room instead of downstairs where I was. It made me the person that neighbors waved to from a distance but never invited inside. I won every argument for 50 years, and I didn't realize what the prize was until it was already too late. Now let me tell you about the moment that broke me. Not my first heart attack, not my second. Those were just my body screaming what my family had whispered for years. The moment that actually broke me came after the third one. I was home, recovering. They'd set me up in the bedroom downstairs because I couldn't manage the stairs anymore. The room smelled like antiseptic and old lavender from a sachet somebody had tucked into the pillow. And underneath all of it was the stale smell of cold tea sitting too long on the nightstand. There was a little machine next to the bed that beeped every few seconds. A soft, steady beep, like the house reminding me I was still alive whether I deserved it or not. My daughter had come to take care of me. She drove 3 hours, took a week off work, bought groceries, filled prescriptions, changed my sheets. She did everything a loving daughter should do. But here's what I noticed. Before she came into my room each time, she would stop in the hallway. I could hear her through the door. She would pause and take a long, slow breath. Not a sigh, not a yawn. It was the kind of breath you take before you walk into a room where something might explode. She was bracing herself to see her own mother. That breath shattered me more than any heart attack ever could, because in that moment I realized something I had never allowed myself to see. My own daughter was afraid of me, not afraid of losing me, afraid of me. And she had been afraid for 30 years. When she hugged me goodbye that week, she held me carefully, the way you hold something you're afraid might bite. She left, and the house swallowed me whole. That was 2 years ago. Now every evening I boil the kettle. I take down 2 cups, mine and hers. Hers is the cracked one. I pour tea into both cups. The cracked one leaks a little every time. A thin line of tea slowly creeps across the table, and I wipe it up with a cloth. Then the next evening, I do it again, because that crack is the most honest thing in my house. If you're watching this right now, I want you to think about something. The last time someone you love called you, did they pause before dialing? Did they choose their words carefully? Did they sound like they were walking through broken glass? That pause, that careful breath, that hesitation, that is your report card. You still have time. Call them first. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now and too late. Apologize badly if you have to. Say the words wrong. Say them scared. Just say them. Before you are 74 years old, sitting alone in a quiet kitchen, pouring tea into a cracked cup for someone who isn't coming. Put the cup down. Pick up the phone while you still can.